Yehoshua, the 16th perek, is a pretty short perek. We're going to get it done in one shot. Relatively straightforward. The pasuk says, "V'yetza Goydel," they had a lot that was casted. L'bnei Yosef, for the children of Yosef. Miyardain Yerichoi l'mi Yerichoi Mizracha, from the Jordan River, Jordan opposite of Yericho, to the waters of Yericho to the east. Hamidbar Oilam Yericho, Bahar Bezel, and the desert wilderness that ascended from Yericho to the mountain of Bezel. Right. So Vayetze, actually, before we continue, the Mitsudos David we should look at in Aleph. What does it mean, the Bnei Yosef? It means over here, Hey Menashe ve'Ephraim. Children of Yosef are Menashe and Ephraim. But not to smuchim zelazeh. They took land that was near one another. Aval kol echad nato chelik levad. But everyone took their own personal portion. V'gam nachlosam malu kol ha'oirech shel Eretz Yisrael memizrach lemarav k'moi nachlas Yehuda. And also their inheritance, it filled the entire length of the land of Israel from the east to the west. Next pasuk says, "V'yotza." V'yotza mebeis el Uza. Okay, so this is talking about it went from Beis El to Luz. V'avar el Gvul Harichi Ataras. And it went to the border of the Harichi to Ataras. V'yared Yama. And it went westward. El Gvul Hayaf Leiti. Ar Gvul Beis Chayren. So it went westward to the border of Yaflesi until the border of Beis Chayren, Tachton, the lower one, Va'ad Gazer, and until Gazer. V'hayu Toitza Oisav Yama, and its outlets were to the sea. V'yanachlu B'nei Yosef Menashe ve'Ephraim. The children of Yosef and Ephraim, they received their inheritance, their heritages. Yerusha, form of land. Vayihi Gevul B'nei Ephraim L'mishpachosim, and it was the border of the children of Ephraim according to their families. Vayihi Gevul Nachlasim Mizracha Ataros Adar Ad Beis Chayren Elyon, and it was that the border of their inheritance was from the east, from Ataros Adar until the upper part of Beis Chayron. Relatively straightforward. There's zero chedushim here. The Yotza Gvul Yama, and the border went westwards. Hamich Mitat Mitzafon, from Mich Mitat, the north. V'nosav HaGavul Mizracha, and it circled the border, the eastern part of Taina Shila. There's actually some explanations in this name that I saw the Mefarshim discuss. V'avar Oisav Mizrach Yanocha, and it passed from the east of Yanoicha. V'yarad Miyanoicha Ataros V'narasa, and it went down from Yanocha to Ataros and Naracha. Paga b'Yericho v'yatza Yarden, and it literally met Yericho, reached Yericho, and it went to the Jordan River. Also says Mitapuach Yelech HaGavul Yama, from the Tepuach is the place. It goes to the border westward. Nachal Kana, to the brook
Hmm.
of Kana, Vahiu Toitzoitziv Yama, and its outlets were to the west. Zos Nachalas Mata B'nai Ephraim. This is inheritance, heritage of the children of Ephraim, Mishpachosim according to their families. The Odem Hamavdilos El B'nai Ephraim B'toch Nachalas B'nai Menashe Kol Odem V'chatzreim, and the cities that were isolated, were separated for the children of Ephraim in the inheritance of the children of Manasseh, all these cities and their villages, their courtyards. In other words, they have different areas, like we said before. And then the perek concludes by saying, "V'lo horishu asakrani." They didn't drive out the Canaanites. Hayoishiv begazer, who were sitting, who were inhabitants of Gazer. V'yishiv Ekrani b'kerev Ephraim ariyoim ezeh. And they sat, the Canaanites sat among the people of Ephraim until this day. Vayhi lemas ovid, and they were a tax, a working tax. What does this mean? Mas ovid, a serving tax. What does this mean exactly? The Mitzudas David comments over here. Roitza loimer, loy mas mammon. This isn't talking about a financial tax. There's no money. Ki lemas avoid baguf. This is a tax when it comes to the bodies. I actually looked into this. I didn't realize that there was a difference between the two. But what this is talking about is an indentured labor, which is different from a slave. These are people, reminds me actually of what's happening in Russia and Ukraine a little bit, that basically they're guaranteed either citizenship, food, lodging, um, some sort of freedom and right, uh, because they are working for someone else, but they're not getting paid. So it's someone who works for someone else without getting paid or without a salary. That's basically what this is. The mom, uh-oh. Okay, now it's working. I thought it just froze for a second. The Ma'am Loeys says a very insightful remark in a very short paragraph regarding this. Says that the pasuk over here is informing us that Ephraim, they were wrong. They did something that they weren't supposed to. They left the Canaanites in their area where they inhabited, where they lived, and they weren't supposed to do that. They were supposed to get rid of them. The problem is that they were prone, and they did learn from their evil ways of the Canaanites. The Canaanites, they don't put this actually in the English version of the Mamaways, which is very interesting. I looked just to see how they translate it. Originally, the Mamaways was written in Ladino, so a lot of times there's hit and misses on the English and the Hebrew because it's not the primary language. But the Canaanites, they used to burn their own children for the sake of their idolatry, and they were involved in other abominations as well. The pasuk over here is teaching us that the people of Ephraim, they didn't do good by leaving them there. Not good at all. They should have drove him out, gotten rid of them. And now they're following their ways, which are not good. So the pasuk over here is saying something negative that that they did. That's the explanation over here. That is the entire 16th perek of Yeshua, perek Tes Zayin. It's really relatively straightforward. Sparm don't have a lot of length over here, and there's not much to be dragged out and necessary to, drag something out. It doesn't need to be dragged out. Any questions, comments on this?
Just
Well,
sort of a Mayor Kahana question, but
Yeah,
oh,
is there when is this Los Chaya Kol Neshama
yeah.
in place?
When they're commanded to do so, saying they were commanded to do
I
so.
mean, I guess we don't know who Canaanim are, so I mean that goes out the window
Back
because
then, they knew.
Back then they knew, but I'm saying, like
Yeah.
nowadays, there's
No,
no
no,
issue.
no. Now, from the time of Sancheriv, everyone's already mixed together.
Everyone's mixed up, so you really don't know who's who.
Correct. Correct.
So there's no issue in Eretz Yisrael living. I mean, obviously, you want to live in a Jewish neighborhood, but there's no issue of having other goyim live in your neighborhood. It's not a Issa
No,
Daraisa.
correct. Not like this. This was a specific command.
Right. This was a commandment. They had that commandment back then. They're
Right.
out, they were called to task.
Right. Okay, so stop here.